Okay, let's get going here. This is devoted to figuring out volumes using a calculator. Not particularly interesting problems. I never found this stuff very compelling, but we'll do a relatively easy one, and then a compound object, which I'm calling a trash container, a cylinder topped off by half a sphere, and we'll use our calculator to figure out, in one case, to 1/10 of a unit, and in this case, v to 100th of a unit, but I'll get to number 2 in a second. I'll turn them into homeworks. Maybe I'll send you 2 problems this afternoon, and tomorrow I can go over them to see if you can come up with it. A calculator is absolutely required for these problems. Why? Well, you can start on the top problem here. Half of 5 is 2.5, 2.5. Who wants to do algebra with that? I mean, that's a big job here. And they also, the real giveaway, is once they say to a nearest 10th, to the nearest 100th, to the nearest 1,000th, to the nearest billionth, you must use a calculator, because we have been abstractly representing pi from the mathematician's point of view. So having said that, I'm going to hustle over here on the side, and I'm going to do number 1, and I'm going to work it out. And let's see how it goes for us over here. Well, we know that v equals 1/3 pi, which has to be evaluated now since they asked us to 1/10. And the radius here is half of 5, which is 2.5. So they expect you to write that in. And finally, the height is 15. And this particular problem's in units. And I would recommend in this particular case that we just do this, okay? It won't make a difference, but there it is. So we write out the volume here, and then we come up with pi v equals times 2.5 squared times 5. And there we go, and I'll round that to a 10th, and then you guys will be able to see that it's just the calculator. In a way, unless there's a real scientific problem involved here, it's kind of hard to see why you'd even go through this. But anyway, I do the math, and I'll put my little calculator out here so you can see it. Pi times 2.5 square button, whoops, thing's not on, pi times 2.5, press the square button, you don't have to put that in parentheses, and then multiply it times 5. If you didn't cancel there, then you would have had to make the extra step, wouldn't be a big deal. Press the enter button, and we end up with 98.174777042. I love to take advantage of these opportunities. Why does it go on forever? Because the equation here has been multiplied by an irrational number. So by law, by mathematical propositions, irrational number must come up. And they asked us to the nearest 10th. So there's a 10th. Circle the guy next door to the right. Draw your arrow, and the answer is 98.2 units cubed. And that's all there is to it, basically. You'll be doing these. You'll have multiple choice questions here on this stuff. So you'll be able to see if you made a mistake pushing the wrong button or whatever. All right? So I'm going to erase this and do a slightly more complicated problem, but really not much more enlightening. Really, be honest with you, just pushing a lot of buttons like you do with the computers, really no learning involved, in my opinion. So here we go, and we have a trash container. There's the entrance, and the trash goes inside. The double prime means they're in units. This is all the data I need to solve the problem. So I'll move over here a little bit and make a picture of the problem like we were doing with compound problems. And there we go. That's all they're asking you to do. It's the container or the cylinder, if you like, plus the half sphere. But this time, there's no way I'm going to be able to do this without a calculator. And they want V to 100th of an inch. Why, I don't know, of an inch. And we'll do that. So there's the data, there's the dimensions of the trash container. I'll move over to the right over here, and I'll start doing the problem. Well, the container has a diameter, so V is going to equal half of 15 is 7.5. I'm sure most of you are aware of that. So it's this 7.5 squared times 24, and then of course we add on, but again they're attached. If this is 7.5, this is 7.5, so that's the whole point behind it. And so this would be 2 over 3. Don't make a common mistake and write 4 over 3. It's half a sphere, and there's the pi that makes everything irrational anyway, and there it's going to be 7.5 cubed. So there it is. You're just plugging in numbers, and you're going to get your inches here. I'll erase this because I'll need it. We know we have to go to 100th of an inch when we get to the end here. I pick up my trusty calculator, and I go left to right, and it should work. So I have pi times 7.5, hit the square button, you should be in good shape, times 24, plus, order of operations counts here, 2 times pi times 7.5. Oh, see that button between the square and the pi? That's the power button. I power that up to 3 because it's cubed, and then I divide the whole thing by 3. So going left to right, the calculator should work. You guys will check me out here. Like I said, you're taking a multiple choice test that I'm brewing as we speak now, and you'll be able to check your answers. And if you go back and push the wrong button or don't properly follow order of operations, it won't work. And here we come up with the number 5,124, and I love to do this, 7.2, because that's the more interesting part of the math. Whoops, keep blocking you with this silly calculator. Put it down. Let's see, 723016. And then the calculator runs out of memory, but that's okay. We were asked to do this to the 100th, 10th, 100th, circle the guy to the right, draw your arrow. It's so simple to do, and the correct answer is 5,124.72 cubic inches. And when I graded the math test a couple years ago, we were instructed to take points off if you didn't mention what you're doing here. Not unreasonable. You should understand that this is in cubic inches. Okay, so I'm going to give you, oh, can you see everything here? Let's see. Yeah, we're all right. I'm going to give you some problems tomorrow that do that. Let's just move this over a little bit there so the kids can see what I did as I finish this off. We're on 9 minutes now, and that's all they're asking you to do. And like I said, I don't find it particularly interesting, but I'm teaching to the test, and you are expected to be able to manipulate a calculator, as you learned, a lot of you in 7th grade, every day. And there we go with the answer. Okay? So I'm going to turn this off, and I'll get this off to you, and I'll get you some problems out where you can work on these yourself and make sure you're confident. But the main point, the main thing that you should understand more than anything else is that it can't be done without a calculator. You're not going to be able to do this by hand unless you're willing to spend hours doing one problem. Okay.